Yo, what's going on YouTube? Hey man, it's Freedom Johnson. I want to thank anybody who's ever seen any video or Instagram post or Facebook post that I've ever had. Thank you guys so much. I don't take this lightly. I really do appreciate you spending your time watching this. So I just want to dive deep into it. I don't want to make this video too long today, but I put something out on Instagram a few days ago where I was going to be talking about 21 steps that I've learned over 2 years of being in real estate. And I just wanted to share these things with you guys. And a lot of these come from trial and error, okay? So I just want to let you guys know I've personally made successes and made mistakes, and I'm still growing and still learning. And I want to share that with people as I go along in my journey so that, you know, I've done it so you don't have to do that, okay? So I just want to give you these 21 steps. So thank you guys. You know, I'm going to put some links in the description below of some of the websites that I use and some of the resources that I use as well. So pay attention to the description below, and you'll see some of the things that I do. And, you know, if you think any of this helps, then share it with somebody. But let's just dive right in, all right? So first step number one, data is so important. Data is the foundation of this business, okay? So if you're looking for motivated sellers, then if you're just driving down the prettiest neighborhood with the best houses and you're looking for a motivated seller, it's going to be highly unlikely. It is possible, but it's unlikely. So what I like to do is I like to think like an analyst, right? So I want to go get the best data for motivated sellers. So I use companies like ListSource. I use the tax delinquent from my cities. I use code violations. I use eviction lists. I've got a friend who's telling me about fire damaged properties right now. I use pre-foreclosure leads. I use abandoned homes in good areas. I use, you know, if I see the garage kicked in and 4 satellites on top of the roof, then I'm looking at that house as well. So you really want to find motivated sellers, not so much just a house, okay? So there's a tip I got about that later on coming out on this video, but data is so important. You know, water shut-off list, inherited homes, probate. You can get a lot of different lists from your city, and if you don't know how to get them from your city, then start to become a learner of that, or just reach out to mentors and other people who are in the game and ask them how they get their list. Probably 9 out of 10 of them not going to tell you how they do it, but one of them will. So those are some motivated lists, and you can use ListSource and Listability, things like that. There's some other people as well that I put on the description below. Tip number 2, keeping track and staying organized is super important. If you're using a yellow sticky pad and you got paperwork all over the place, you're going to be unorganized, right? So really what I use is a system called PODCAST, but it's so many other CRM systems that you can use. You can use RealFlow, FreedomSoft, Asana, Infusion, Mojo, DealMachine has even had a little CRM. So you can use whatever you need to stay organized, but you have to stay organized, all right? Because whenever you start getting these deals and you get 2 or 3 deals and things need to go to title and things need to be inspected and sent out, you get a lot of properties that you need to be organized so you know what's the next task. So stay organized, please, all right? So tip number 3, start off with a simple marketing strategy. What I try to do is I try to do everything all at once, and I was trying to learn it all at once, got overwhelmed, got no leads, right? So I broke it down and got really simple and systematic into my marketing. So what I actually do right now in 2019 is we do ringless voicemail, we do cold call, we do text, and we drive for dollars. That is it. There are other things that I want to do. I just can't do them right now. So start with a simple strategy, just one of them, and just be the best at that. Get that thing up and rolling, get some money in, and then start thinking about, you know, another strategy. So the cheapest strategies to get started out with is calling people, is driving for dollars, is ringless voicemail as well. Bandit signs is kind of cheap, but it's a marathon. You got to do that thing over and over again. Direct mail as well. They got some great apps like Yellow Letter HQ and DealMachine as well. So, but you want to stick to one, because you can't manage all, you know, 4, 5, 6 of them. Because if you get 4 or 5 calls coming in from different forms of leads, well, now, you know, it's going to be hard to keep track. So just start off with a simple marketing strategy. That's something that I've learned. Had to tell myself I can only do it one step at a time. Can't do it all. So that's tip number 3 right there. Tip number 4 is qualifying people. Whenever you're talking to distressed sellers, I like to say the 4 pillars, and I got that from Brent Daniels on wholesalinginc.com. 4 pillars is time, motivation, condition, and price, right? So you really want to find out the timeline to sell, condition of the property, what are they willing to pay for it, what are they willing to sell it for, and then what's their situation, right? So if you get somebody that's like, yeah, man, my house I just fixed it up last year, and you know, it's beautiful, it's up to date in 2019, I don't need to sell. Well, that's somebody that doesn't have two of those things, condition and motivation for you, right? So you want to find somebody who fits those four. Like, I'm looking to sell it right now. My husband just died. I don't have a job. The house needs a ton of fixing. The foundation is messed up. And, you know, so you got three of those four. Then you find out that price, it may be a good deal for you. So you want to qualify people. That's really important. Tip number 5, you only want to focus on the maybes and the yeses. And this is something that I struggle with sometimes too, because I get like controlling over the deal. I'm like, no, they said no, I'm gonna turn them to a yes. It's the wrong thing to do. Don't do that. You really want to focus on your maybes and your yeses, all right? And it's a follow-up game. You got to continue to follow up with those people, because in 30 days, their situation may change. And if you calling them up on a consistent basis, then when they pick up that phone that one time, that one day when something's going on, they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I need to sell now. So follow up on your maybes and your yeses. Don't focus on the no's, okay? That's tip number 5. Tip number 6 is know your numbers. Know what houses are selling for in that area when they're completely fixed up. And then also try to have an idea of what houses are selling for as is. So you can either be an agent or you can have an agent who can tell you, you know, what ARV is, but you don't need that. That's not the end all be all. Here's a quick tip, guys. Zillow, Trulia, Realtor. Add up those 3 prices on that property and divide it by 3. You'll get an idea of what the house is worth, okay? So that's tip number 6 right there. Tip number 7, you got to get appointments. You got to get face-to-face with these people. We got to talk to these people face-to-face, because you can build rapport a little bit better whenever you're doing that as well. And cognitively, you now sit in their brain. So if they don't know who you are, they never seen you before, you know, then the chances of you getting a deal will be unlikely if you never ever plan to get an appointment. Now, you can do virtual wholesaling. That's a whole nother thing. I'm not talking about that right now, because that is possible. There are people that I know who are doing it virtually. I'm talking about the people that are trying to get deals in their city. You need appointments. Get appointments, okay? So that's tip number 6 right there. Tip number 8, this one is crazy. You're not looking for houses. You're actually looking for problems, all right? So these houses show signs of problems. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking to solve problems, okay? So if you're just going to look, let me just go down my street today and just see the 12 houses that I'm looking at, let me just skip trace them all and call them, that's not a good deal. You want to go, I mean, you're wasting your time. So you really want to go look for problems. So that's why I say those abandoned buildings, you know, probate, inherited properties, things like that, those show bigger signs of problems. So that's tip number 8. Tip number 9 is you got to give offers to people. I was just talking with a friend of mine who sent an offer through the mail, and they got the offer accepted. I had an offer yesterday, got accepted as well, just met with the person. You got to give offers. If you never give the offer, then you're never going to be selling anything. So you got to give offers, all right? Tip number 10, when you get these contracts, man, this is a really, really good one that I picked up, and I'm like OCD about it. Like the day I get the contract, I do this. Send that contract to the title company early so you can look up any liens, anything that's going on with that property that you did not know about. Send that contract to the title company early. That's a really, really good one, all right? So that way you can prepare for any of those surprises. Instead of the other side is you never do it, you send it, and then you never check up on them, and then the day before closing, you find out you got $50,000 in liens. Well, if you did that early, you would have been able to prepare for that and fix that, okay? So that's tip number 10 right there. Tip number 11, determine the price that you're going to sell it for, and have a checklist. Did we put the lockbox on that house? Did we have the showing? Did we have the inspection? Do we have an idea of how much the rehab is going to be? And then from there on, determine your price. So that's the tip that I learned as well. Tip number 12 is having a marketing plan, and who will you talk to and sell the contract, and have a big database of buyers. So your marketing plan, all right? So get buyers, and you can get buyers on the MLS, going on the websites, going to RIA meetups and talking to doctors and nurses and things like that. So you want to have a selling plan. Who am I going to sell this house to? And then how am I going to communicate this property is for sale to them? Am I going to text? Am I going to email? Am I going to do ringless voicemail? Am I going to call them? Am I going to pull up to the job? What am I going to do? So have a selling marketing plan. as well. All right. So that's tip number 12. Tip number 13, have a relationship with everybody. Clearly have a relationship with everybody. I'll tell you guys a quick story and I'll get on to the rest of the tips. First house I ever flipped was because of somebody that I was working with. I was working at this company, and then when I quit the company, I still had that relationship with them, and then their mother needed to sell, and they called me up and said, hey man, I need your help, man. I need to sell this house, man. And because I had that relationship with that person, I got that referral for no money. I didn't have to pay for marketing for that. And that one came to me because I had the relationship. So you definitely want to have relationships with people, because everybody knows somebody you don't know. And then 1 out of 100 of the people that they know is probably going through something. So, be in this business for relationships, not for the money. When you do that, the money comes to you. All right. Number 14, get a contractor or a rehabber, somebody to teach you about how to look at rehabs on properties, right? So, because if you see something and you see a crack in the wall, you may think, oh yeah, I just need to get new drywall. Well, that could be a sign of foundation repair. You never know. So, if you can, this is what I do. I get an inspection on my properties, but you don't have to. Just get a contractor, get a mentor to kind of show you some signs, and you can look up videos for signs like that. But get an inspection if you want. This is something that I do. All right. So tip number 15, you want to get reliable buyers. That's a really big tip, and that's something that I've gone through. A lot of people saying they can offer on the house and you had no proof of funds. So you want to get proof of funds, and you want to find out if they got hard money, if they got private money, if they got cash in the bank. You really want to know how they're going to fund, because you don't want to waste the seller's time or your time or a buyer's time by just accepting the first offer if you have no idea where they're getting their money from. So make sure you ask people how are they getting funded, and you want only reliable buyers into your database, okay? Number 16, just be honest with people, man. Goes a long way. I'm sure you guys have, if you're a guy or a girl, if you ever got your hair done with somebody and they just sucked, and you always didn't have a good relationship with them, and you had to go find another one. It's just the same way in real estate, man. There's a lot of people who just suck, who are dishonest, who only in it for themselves. A lot of people like that. I've been through that on both sides. So you want to be honest in this game, because your name is your brand. So you really just want to be upfront and transparent and be professional with people too, so be honest. Tip number 17, earnest money is a great way to find out who is committed, who's really serious or not. All right. So if you've got property that you're putting down and they got no earnest money, the chances of it, man, is they're probably not too serious. So that's a great barrier to entry for people who are really serious in the game. Most people in the game, they know they're gonna have to put, $1,500, $2,000, $5,000 non-refundable deposits. So that's a great barrier. So put that out for people as well. Let them know, like, hey, we got a non-refundable earnest money, because we all need that. That we need that barrier to entry, so we know that we're dealing with the real players, not just somebody who's wasting your time. Tip number 18 is communication is key, man. Like, tell the sellers what to expect, what the process is going to be like, but then tell buyers what the process is going to be like. I know a lot of people who get properties under contract and they're like, great, now I'm about to make some money, and they just sit back and just wait. You got to communicate with people. All right. So that's tip number 18. Tip number 19, get the seller to sign the title docs early, right? Do that before, if you can, instead of the day before closing, because it shows your professionalism. It shows you're on time. Just try to get the seller to go over there and sign those documents early. It really, really does help out. Okay. Number 20, know how the buyer is funding the deal. Please ask them before you actually sign that contract with that person. So ask them how are they getting their funding, and ask for that proof of funds. So I talked about that a little bit earlier, but that's also, I had to put it in it twice for different reasons. So know the buyer's funding, very, very important. All right. And then number 21, document your marketing for leads process, right? How are you going to market? What's the step-by-step process? What do you do whenever you get that lead? And when they say yes, how do you set the appointment? Who sets the appointment? Who goes to the appointment? When you get the property under contract, what happens next? Document your process, man, please, and do it through video and Microsoft Word or Google Docs if you can, because you'll set yourself up in the mindset of a business. This is something I'm currently doing right now. And as I do it, I can get all my thoughts out of my head onto paper, and I can see the process of my business happen. So make sure you guys do that. All right. And that was tip number 21, but I want to give you a bonus. I know we're at 15 minutes, so I'm going to shut this off early. Find a mentor that is like 5 or 10 times more successful than you guys. So I have many mentors in this game, and I see them got 10, 15, 20 properties, people who wholesale deals 3, 4, 10 a month. You know, so I've got people around who are really, really better at this game than me. So it makes me want to be better because I see the end result. So you really want to find a mentor, guys. YouTube University is a great way, but it can only take you so far. You may understand the game, but you won't get the knowledge unless you're there with somebody who's showing you how to do it and do it better. So you really want mentors around you. Get around like-minded people. You know, if you're the only one, you know, in the real estate game and everybody around you is not doing real estate, well, you need to find a new group of people because you'll elevate faster with people who are doing what you're doing. So that is my tips, 21 tips that I've learned over 2 years, guys. I love you guys. You can check me out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever I'm at. But I'll put some of the descriptions of some of the websites and links that I use and systems that I use. I hope this helps you guys. You guys have a blessed day. I'll see y'all soon. Peace.